Hello and welcome to the Week 2 Games That Matter prediction video. I'm going to jump right into it. I got 23 games to predict right now, so it's going to try and get through this as fast as possible. But also spending enough time on each one. Number 16, TCU at SMU. I got TCU winning this game. I think they're going to get a road win here, their first Division I opponent of the season. SMU might give them a little trouble, but I got TCU pulling away in the second half. Portland State at number 23, Oregon. I got Oregon winning this one, starting 2-0 on their season. Next is Ball State at number 8, Notre Dame. I think Ball State might catch Notre Dame napping in the first quarter, put maybe 7-10 points up on them, maybe 14 if they're feeling really lucky. But I think Notre Dame pulls away through the rest of the game. Big win for Notre Dame, but Ball State will keep it close early, maybe. Next is number 13, Penn State at Pitt. I got Penn State winning this game, but it took me a lot to get to that. It mainly comes down to the fact that I just don't know what to expect from Pitt this year. They're changing a lot of pieces. It's going to be an interesting to see, but they always play Penn State really close. Now, Penn State's offense, we know, is still really good this year, despite not having Saquon Barkley back. They put up 45 points in their season opener on Appalachian State. But they also let up 38 and had to go to overtime. So the defense is where it's questionable for Penn State. What it comes down to is, did I think Penn State's defense could stop Pitt? Probably a little bit, but I think Pitt will definitely put up some points on them. But the question was could Pitt's defense stop Penn State? And I just didn't think so. So I'm going with Penn State to win this one on the road. New Mexico at number 5, Wisconsin. I got Wisconsin winning this one, and Wisconsin starting 2-0, but they really don't have that tough of an out-of-conference schedule this year. Next is number 18, Mississippi State at Kansas State. Both these teams are playing their first Division I opponent of the season. Mississippi State blew their non-Division I opponent out of the water last week, whereas Kansas State had to rely on a missed field goal to maintain their win over their non-Division I opponent last weekend. So I'm going with Mississippi State to win this one on the road. I just don't know that K-State's got a lot to offer this year. Next is Western Michigan at number 21, Michigan. Western Michigan's a good team. However, Michigan's at home. They're getting their home opener. And on top of that, it's just, there's going to be a lot of fire in this Michigan team. They're going to come back, and I think they respond by taking it out on Western Michigan and putting that foot back forward, showing that, yeah, they lost to Notre Dame in the season opener, but that is not going to define their season. They are going to put their best foot forward and come back, and I think Harbaugh gets them back into shape. Next is UCLA at number 6, Oklahoma. I've got Oklahoma winning this one. UCLA was not very impressive in their season opener. They did lose their game. Oklahoma looked back in shape, back in form with that win over FAU. And this new quarterback for Oklahoma is showing that he can fill Baker Mayfield's shoes if he needs to. And he definitely needs to. William and Mary at number 12, Virginia Tech. I got Virginia Tech winning that one hands down. Arkansas State at number 1, Alabama. I'm picking Alabama for obvious reasons. But I do have to say I appreciate the fact that Alabama is playing Division I teams to start their season. No, they're not ranked teams. Yes, one of them's from the Sun Belt, but it is still a Division I team. They're not starting their season off with the easy non-Division I teams like the rest of their conference has. Next on the list is number 3, Georgia at number 24, South Carolina. Now, this is going to be a fun game, I think. It's going to be pretty close all the way through the first 3 quarters, maybe even part of the fourth quarter, but I feel Georgia late in the game, maybe the last 10 minutes, starts to pull ahead, wins it by like 2 scores. I got Georgia winning this one on the road. Rutgers at number 4, Ohio State. I got Ohio State winning this one. I think Rutgers maybe puts up 21, 24 points, but Ohio State pulls away, wins it big, just like last week. Next is North Dakota at number 9, Washington. I got Washington winning this one. Youngstown State at number 14, West Virginia. I got West Virginia. South Carolina State at number 19, UCF. I got UCF winning that one, starting 2-0 and getting their 15th consecutive win. Next is Savannah State at number 22, Miami of Florida. I got the Hurricanes winning this one at home, bounce back from last week's loss. Number 2, Clemson at Texas A&M. This is a rematch of head coaches Dabo Swinney and Jimbo Fisher. But Jimbo Fisher's at a different team now. I think Texas A&M had a strong start to their season, and I feel like they're gonna come in and give Clemson a lot to handle. But I feel like in halfway through the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, Clemson starts to pull away. Clemson will win it by anywhere from 10 to 20. Southeastern Louisiana at number 11, LSU. I got LSU winning this game, hands down. Alabama State at number 7, Auburn. I got Auburn winning this one hands down. And next is Kentucky at number 25, Florida. I got Florida winning this one at home. I just feel like Florida's really going to try and prove their point that they are a top 25 team. They've been starting bottom of the top 25, sneaking their way in, outside the top 25, sneaking their way in at the beginning of the season, and then falling apart the last few years. So I'm thinking that might happen again, but I think the fall apart's not going to be as great this year. Next is number 17, USC, at number 10, Stanford. Now this one was another one I had to stop and sit and think about for a little bit, because I wanted to make sure I didn't pick with my head, or I didn't pick with my heart, but picked with my head. And I went with Stanford to win this one. They're at home. They're coming off a big win against San Diego State. USC, well, they did get a 43-21 win over UNLV. They still did not look good to start that game, and I think that's what makes the difference in this one, is that USC, I don't think they'll start as good against Stanford, and Stanford will start pulling ahead, and then it's going to be USC playing catch-up, and with a true freshman starting at quarterback, you don't really want to be playing catch-up when you're facing a top 10 opponent. Next is UConn at number 20, Boise State. I picked Boise State to win this one. They're coming home after a huge win over Troy last week, the team that gave them problems. I think Boise State comes back home, maybe has a little bit of a hangover in the first quarter, but I mean, I just don't see UConn being able to keep up with Boise State for the whole game. And last but not least, I got number 15, Michigan State at Arizona State. This is the one that I actually fought over in my head the most. I went with Michigan State to win this one on the road, simply because their head coach has a habit of, if his guys have a bad game, he gets onto them and makes sure it's a fluke for them, and at least make sure that the next week they respond accordingly, because they won against Utah State, very close game, in a very close game, but this week they're not playing Utah State, they're playing Arizona State, who demolished their opponent UTSA, who was also a bowl eligible team last year, as was Utah State. But Arizona State ran away with their game, and it's an away game. They're going out to the West Coast to play this team. It's going to be interesting to see how they keep up with it. I got Michigan State, but it's going to be a very close game. I'm thinking like 38-35, maybe like 37-35, something like that. Really close, within a field goal, I believe. And that is it for the week 2 predictions. If you guys like what I'm doing, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to be doing this all season long, and I'm going to try and stick to my guns this next off season. Try to actually release videos the way I planned. It's gonna be interesting to see where this season goes from here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think's gonna win it all this year? Is Alabama gonna get their back-to-back titles, or is Alabama gonna play in their 3rd or 4th straight national title game? Let's find out. We got to play the season to see, and I can't wait for the finale. I'll see you guys after the weekend for the week 2 recap.